Hello guys, welcome to Nemtech. My name is Nehemiah Wekesa. I'm the founder of Nemtech, and today we are going to develop a to-do list full stack web application. The front end we shall be using React, and the back end is Django. So this is the platform, this is the site that we are going to develop, me and you. So it is fully dynamic from the backend, and of course you can add in new to-dos here. For example, let me try to add in something like I don't know which one I can include here, or let me say restaurant restaurant web application. You can specify the date that you want it to be launched, or maybe to expire. Perhaps let me give it whichever date, and then I can add it to the to-do. So when you scroll down, you'll see that you'll have the restaurant, and of course you can also mark stuff if they are completed or not. It is completely dynamic. For example, you've completed this restaurant, you want to mark it as complete. You can just click here, and then you can see now it is in the completed task. So the ones here at the top, these are the pending task, and of course you can always delete task that you see that it's out of the scope. For example, I want to delete something like this to-do list. You just click on the to-do list, and then it's going to be deleted. So for example, and also you can also edit. I remember that all the code operation are fully implemented both in the front end and the back end. So for instance, let me say I want to edit this social web application to something like LMS learning management system web application, something like that. You can just click on OK. Then you can see it is fully dynamic, and we shall be using Postman to test the APIs. And you can see, for example, you want to obtain all the APIs here, to list all the APIs. You can just type the URL path. Then when you search this to do, it's going to list all the available to do's. So when I run, you can see it has returned all the tasks. It is fully functional, and you can always search with the ID. For example, I want to retrieve only ID number 13. You can specify the 13 here. Then when you do a search, it will pull that 13 alone. So you can see 13 is e-commerce web application and stuff like that. And once the content are too much, there's pagination. You can go to the next and the previous. So guys, basically we are going to develop with Django and React, and from scratch. I'm going to guide you step by step, and you're going to learn a lot in this project. Remember, this is just a simple one, but with you are going to develop a very, very powerful system on your own. But the idea is to give you the skills, or maybe to get you started. So guys, before we begin, I will request you kindly to subscribe. That is to support me, and also you might also want to share it to your friends, so that they too may also learn some skills here and there. Remember, I'm teaching for free, so you could do me a favor to share it to someone else, so that they too may also learn something, and also like the video, so that YouTube may also recommend it to other viewers like you. Otherwise guys, straight away let's begin. And so guys, the requirement for this project, you need to have Python in your system, because Django is a Python web framework. And then also you need to have some basics on CSS to style your document, and also React. So first of all, let's confirm if you have the necessities. So let's check first of all if we have Python. So I'll open my command line tool, and I'll use the command prompt, and then I'll just type here Python -- version and then I can see I have this version 3.12.1. Maybe you'll be watching in the future. I don't know which latest version it will be by the time you'll be doing such a project. But to access the latest version, always go to the Python website, python.org, and then I'll go to the download tab, and then in the download tab you can see the version is 3.12.2, and this one mine was 3.12.1. So I think let me try to uninstall. And then I'll show you how I can install. Let me try to install something here so that we can open that window to uninstall. Now let me uninstall this Python, and then I'll show you how you can install. I'm going to install everything that concerns Python, and then we shall do it once again, because I want us to have only one environment so that we may be on the same page. So guys, I've just uninstalled the Python, and you can always confirm if it's done by checking again the command python -- version. It will tell me that I don't have Python in my system. You can see Python was not found. So I want us to go to the official website, and then we shall download the latest version, of which it is this one. And for me, I had already downloaded, so I'm going to install, and then I'll install. So you can see it will come with these dependencies. It will come with these important files, pip, and documentation, and also IDLE. So pip is the package manager that we'll be using to install some modules like even Django and other frameworks. So let me just try to add everything here in the path, and then go to I'll install it now. I'll install it, and then perhaps in most cases you'll have to restart your system to configure everything, but I think for me it will just work because I had initially installed it. Let me first of all close the other ones, the other programs. This one, many tabs I don't want to see. You can see it is now successfully installed, and then I can now check. So again, let me run the command, and to pull the command that we had written earlier, just use the arrow key pointing upwards to pull the code that you had written upward instead of retyping again. And then when you run, let's try to, I think in most cases I'll have to restart the computer for it to work effectively, but let me just try again. Python -- version. Yeah, you can see now I have Python 3.12.2, so I'm good to begin. And then also I think when we reach the front end, I'll show you some important packages also to install, like a node, but at the moment let's just begin because I want us to set up the backend, and then I shall go to the front end. So we're going to select a folder where we are going to place the project, and I'm going to place this project in the desktop, and then here let me just create a folder, and then I'll call it to do list web app. Let me just call it to do list, and then so inside this project I want us to, because we have Python now, we can create the virtual environment here, because I will use Python to create those virtual environments. So let's navigate to that directory. It is in the to-do list. Actually it is in the desktop, so we are going to cd is a command to change directory, and then now desktop, and then we can do at dir so that we may check the directories there, so that I can just copy. So it is a to-do list. I can copy, and then once you copy, then again we can cd. But now because the to-do list has spaces, we'll use now the quotes like this, and then at the end you also add in the quote so that it may navigate there. And then once we are there, so we can create now the virtual environment by typing this command python -m venv. This is a command to create the virtual environment. Then the virtual environment itself, you can call it env. So I had written the wrong command, python instead of Python, so it should be Python Python dash m, and then venv, then let me just call it env. And then it's going to take some time, but it will create this folder with everything inside it, some packages inside it. So let's give it some time so that it can open a new line where we can write other commands. Then we shall be sure that it has completed like this, or it is done. And to clear this history, you can always do cls or if you are using the terminal or a bash, you can just type there clear, then it will clear everything so that you may have a clean workspace. And then when you go here, you can see you have some folders, includes lib scripts. Now these scripts contains the files to activate the virtual environment. You can see we have activate.bat and stuff like that. So to activate, in case you are not seeing these extension, be sure to check it. If you are on Windows, go to the views and then ensure that the file name extension is checked. You can see when it is not checked, you can't see the extension, but when it is checked, you can see the extensions. So I'm going to use this activate.bat to activate the virtual environment, and that to deactivate this deactivate.bat. So now I'm going to do what I'm going to go to that folder env, then a backslash scripts, and then a backslash, actually env is the folder, this is the folder, and then a scripts folder, and then the file to activate it is activate.bat, or you can just say activate. And then when you hit enter, you can see now it is now activated. You can see now the virtual environment is has begun here. The status has changed. Now once we have this virtual environment this way, then we can install the the Django module here. So again, now we can do the pip install Django. Ensure that you are installing it inside this virtual environment. So once you hit enter, then it's going to install the virtual environment. So let me return to the root directory here, and then so let's give it some second to install everything, and then once it's done, and then we can begin the project. We can create now the project. So basically Django will come with some useful commands that we can use some of them to create application, to start the server, and many other things. So once we create now the project, it will come with a virtual command line interface. But at the moment, let's check the commands available within Django by typing Django-admin. Django-admin, you can see we have some very useful commands here: check, compile messages, create cache table, db shell. So in this instance, I'll be using the start project to start the project, then a startup, which I'll use it to start the application later. But I will be using the virtual command line interface, not from Django, not from this directly from the command line. We'll be using the virtual code manage.py from Django once we create the project. So it is Django admin, then the command is start project, and then the project name, let me call it let me just call it project. Let me call it project, and then let me just call it project. Then it's going to create the project, but you can see now the bad thing is that it has created this folder, but inside it we also have another folder. So I'm going to uninstall this one, I'm going to delete this one, and then I want to have it in the root directory here, not embedded inside another folder. So to do that, you are going to write the same command, but at the end you add in the period. You add in the period there at the end, like that. Then it's going to place everything here at the root. directory. So you can see now I have this folder, and then inside the project we have other files, useful files. So now I'll be using the Visual Studio Code. I have Visual Studio Code. If you do not have, or you can as well use any other you can as well use any other code editor, but for me I'm going to use this one. And if you want to follow along, you can go to this site and download VS Code. Just search VS Code download, VS Code download. Then use this one with this logo, and then download for your operating system. Mine, it was Windows, and I already have it. So once you have everything in place, then you can open it direct. But if you want to use the code to open, just type here code, then a period at the end, then it will open everything within this current directory, with this current directory here. So it's going to open Visual Studio Code with the files within that to-do list. So you can see we have it here. And then now we can see we have this manage.py, and we're going to use this manage.py as our virtual command line interface to write the commands. So let me do what? Let me clear, or let me use the embedded terminal inside this Visual Studio Code. Let me use the embedded terminal. You go to the file, to these tabs here at the top. Then when you find the ellipse, click on it. Then you will see terminal. You can see the shortcut to create a new terminal is Control-Shift plus backtick. Just click on it, but I'll be using the shortcut which is Control-Shift and the backtick in future. Now by default it's going to use PowerShell, but I want to use the command prompt because I was using it earlier for consistency. So let me change it to command prompt. I'll delete this one so that it may not confuse anyone. So just click on this drop down and then select your preferred command line. You can as well use git bash and stuff like that, but let me use this one. You can see already it is activated, automatically activated. Now here, so now to create the application for this project, we can type here Python, but now we are writing this command inside the virtual environment, so we have to type in the virtual environment, which is manage.py start up, and then the app name, let me call it to do and then it's going to create an application here with some file inside it. So application, these are like the way you have application in your smartphone. For example, you have an app for camera, an app for WhatsApp, an application for emails and stuff like that. So this application, they are specific to some specific task. For example, if you have an e-commerce platform, you might have an application to handle the users, the carts, another one to handle any other thing there, or maybe the components, or the template and stuff like that. So you can see here it has created the application called to do, and to link it to your project, you can always go to the project. Remember, for me, I renamed it as project. Perhaps you use a different name. Be sure to use the name that I use it the other side. And then because we've just created an application, you can see it's just a different folder. We need to link it to the project. So to do that, we are going to add it here in the list of installed applications. And then parameters, or maybe strings are always inside the quotes. Then the app name is to do. And then always be sure to separate parameters with a comma in case you want to have other stuff to include. Be sure always to separate with the comma. And then also so now the project is linked. Also, we will need to create the URLs for the to do, but before that, let's begin by doing what? Let's begin by creating some models for the project. You can see now within the to do, when you click on the to do, you can see we have some files, and I want to create the models. The models, these are like tables. These are like tables inside our database. Models, these are just like the tables inside your database. So first of all, this first line of code, you need to have it from Django.db import models. Remember, by default Django uses SQLite. It has already the inbuilt database system management system, so we are going to use this one. And because I'm going to create some modules that contains is a to-do list, so basically I intend to have like that part where we have the task, then the task at hand, then it will also display the completed time, or maybe the time it was created, and the due time. So basically, let me do this. Let me define here my class. Class, then this one I'm going to give it to do, and then it's going to inherit the properties from models dot model. Models dot model, and then separate, end it with a column, because it's a class with a column like that. Then let's define. So for task, and the task itself, we are going to use here models from models package models. It has a function called or maybe method called character field, where it allows you to like write your characters there, and then for characters you have to define the max length. So max underscore length argument length. Not the spelling for length. Length here, length. You need to assign here to some values. So the task, perhaps let me give it the maximum length to be 200. Also, it shouldn't be that long. And then also we need to import for date completed, or let me say completed. Completed is going to be models package. Then the method that we are using here this time is a boolean field. And then within this boolean field, by default is going to be false. Default. I think this is the spelling for default. I'm going to assign here to false. And then also we need to have like the created time. Remember that when that task was created. So created underscore at, I'm going to assign here to again the models package dot date time field. Now in this case, I think I need to have imported the time zone package. So let me just import here from Django dot utils import time zone. Time zone, then I will be able to use it here. I'm going to use it here. So default, I'm going to use default. I think that's the spelling for default. I'm going to use time zone dot now, so that it can capture the current time. The current time, and then lastly due at, let me give it models So again, we are using the models package. Then the method is datetime again. Datetime field. Yeah, datetime field. So that one is going to capture, the date time that it was used. Now we want to have the string representation of this object, so that in case in our Django admin, instead of displaying object 1, object 2, then it's going to display the task name instead of object itself. By default, if you do not specify the string representation of the object, it's going to use object 1, object 2, and I don't want that. So again, we are going to use the string representation here, str underscore two underscores, and then it's going to inherit from the above here, these models. It's going to inherit everything, but now it's going to return self dot task. I want to display task. I want it to display the task. It's going to display now the task here, and then the task. Yeah, so the task, I think it's fine. Everything is fine, I think. So now the next thing, we need now to make some migrations here, because we've just created the models, but Django is not aware about this table that we've just created. So we need to make migrations. First of all, we need to tell Django that there are some new changes. We need to make a migration so that it may be prepared. Once it's prepared, then we can migrate the new tables. So first of all, we must alert it with the command make migration. So just type there Python manage.py. Remember, from this time on, we are using this virtual command line interface called manage.py, and then make migrations. Make migration like that. I think it's fine. So this way, Django is now aware that there are some new tables we need to add. So when you go to the to-do, you can see now the new folder is created, and the initial file in the migration is this one. So this is the fields that is going to capture here. Then the ID by default is going to pick 1 from 1 onwards. So this one is just to alert it, but remember, it's not there now. It's not there. So we need now to migrate. So now the second command will be migrate. Let me first of all let me say migrate so that it can migrate now those changes to the table, to our database. So let me migrate. Yeah, you can see now everything is now good. We now have everything there. So let me clear CLC. So I think everything is now fine. Then we need now to install now the REST framework, because now these tables are in like rows and columns, but because we are using an external application for front end, we will be using React. So we need to convert the tables into like in JSON file, so that it can be easily fetched, so that it can when it is in JSON file, it can be easily identify the columns and stuff quite easily. It can't work direct. You can't fetch a table directly unless it is in JSON or XML. So we'll be converting with the serializers from the REST framework, and then I will be able now to fetch those APIs to the front end. So again, the command, we are going to install first of all the Django REST framework. So PIP, and I remember, if you don't understand anything, you can always find the documentation. So for instance, for REST framework, you can just go there and then search for REST Django REST framework. Django REST framework, Django REST framework, and then you can see it's here, and then you can see the documentation and everything is here. So you can see the commands to install is pip install Django REST framework. In fact, let me just copy it. Let me copy it, and then to the Visual Studio Code, let me just paste there. So it is pip install Django REST framework, and then remember, once you install these frameworks, you need to add it in the list of installed applications. So you again go to the project, and then to the settings, and then to the install apps. You be sure to add in what like the REST framework. You can see this when you go to the documentation, you can see they tell you that in the install app, ensure you add in what this one. So in fact, let me just copy. So where is it? And then here, and then you ensure that it ends with a comma like that, and then now I think we are good. So now we can convert now these models or these tables to the JSON. So we are going to use the serializers from the REST framework to convert the tables into JSON like document. So again, to the to do, and then we are going to create a file. Perhaps you can call it serializers. 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 I think that's the spelling. Serializers .py, and then now we can import the serializers from REST framework. So I'll say from REST framework import serializers, and then now because we want to convert a table, we need now to import that model. Remember, I'm calling it a table, but it's a model. A model is like a table. I told you it's like a table in your database. So it is in the to do, and then these are models.py. This is where we have our models. So I'm going to import this file. So I'll say from current directory. If you want to specify, because you can see they are both the serializers and then the models, they are in the same folder. So instead of typing the name again to do and stuff like that, you can just specify a dot to show that it is in the current directory, the current folder. Then from current folder or to do, and then models, current folders, then models here, import that model that we created. The model name was it was to do. Here you can see it's to do. So we are going to import what to do. Import to do. Remember, it must be models. Remember the file name, it is models. Yeah, like that. And then now we can do what we can create now the serializers here. So class, and then remember that in most cases when you're working with objects, you mostly use it in the Pascal case naming convention when you're defining the classes. So I'll use that to do serializers. To do serializer, and then say serializer package dot models, model serializer, and then so class meta, and then we are going to use a model. A model is going to be to do, the one that we imported, to do, and then the fields, to do, then the fields. Remember, by default, when you create a table, it will automatically add in that column for ID. You saw when you go to the migrations here, then to this one, you can see we have this part where you have the ID. So you don't have like to specify the IDs, because it will automatically create that ID for each record, each each record here. So you don't have to specify. So here in the serializers, I'm going to say the first one is going to be the ID, and then the second one is going to be task. The third one, it was completed at, it was complete. I think I just said complete. Let me just open it, the models, completed, yeah, completed. Let me just copy so that in case you write your things, you don't have like a good impression. So this, and then we are going also to import what? We are going to import the created art. We're going to use the created art. Yeah, created art, and then lastly, I think it's due art here. Make sure that you copy exact, otherwise it won't work. And then here you can add in a comma, and then create the due art here, due art. And then I think the serializers are now good. We can as well create the view function for the APIs. Now for APIs to work, so we can do what we can create to this file called views.py, and then first of all ensure that we are not using the template in system directly from Django. We are using the external application React. So here we're going to use the REST framework. So from REST framework import, we're going to import the view set. The view sets, and then again from the current directory, then a serializers file, serializers. We want to import now, but the serializer that we've just created, which is a Todo serializer. Import Todo serializer, and then also we want to import now that model. So from the current directory models, import Todo. Then let's now create now the view functions. Let's now create the the object itself, class, then Todo, and the APIs now view set, and then here we can, from the view set model, view set package or module, we are going to use this class. We are going to inherit like model view set. We're going to inherit everything there instead of us typing again from scratch, because it's already there. And then here we're going to pass your query set, and then in this query set we are going to use the Todo objects all is a method, and then we want to list it to order by, then so the order by is going to be created at, because I want like I want it like to be negative. So created at, it will always like begin from the top to bottom, like it will list. I want like to the task, like for example the one that is created to be latest, like the one, for example, you had created many ago. So the ones that you had begun, I want it to be at the bottom, and then the new ones to be at the top. So we are going to order it by negative created underscore at, so that it can be the opposite, because by default any new one it will go at the bottom, but now when you use the negative, then it will begin from top to to bottom. Then the serializer underscore class is going to be to do serializer, to do serializer. Yeah, so I think everything is fine. Now we need also to create the URLs in this to do, because I don't want like having the now first of all we need like now to include like I wanted to create a URL here independent to the application, but I can, because it's not much like many applications. Let me just create it directly in the project. So in the project, in the URLs, first of all we are going to have this admin to the URL patterns. So again we are going to use the router. So I think first of all path, also we can also include I'm going to use it. So guys, the other thing that we can use here is also the routers from REST framework. So I'll say from REST framework import. I want to import like the routers. The routers, and also I want to import now the views. So from the app, which is to do dot views. I want to import that API view. I want to import to do view set, the to do view set. And then so let's define the routers here, the router. So router, let's create a variable for it. Router, I'm going to assign here to routers instead of for us to type a lot. Let me just create the variable for it. Yeah, and then default router is a method, and then also we want to, like, let's say router, router, the variable that we've just created dot register, and then we are going to use the formatted, we are going to use let's use here R4, like the regular expression here, R, not actually the parentheses, but here it's going to be to do for the regular expression. So it's going to be to do, and then the rest will be the to do view set. So I want it like so for example, if I want to access a particular view set, and then you are going to first of all begin with this to do, then to do view set. So now we can register everything now. So first of all we need to have the admin, so it should be there. Then the other thing is the path for API. So API is going to be API / and then comma, and then we're going to use the include, and then we're going to use the router dot URLs. Of course, you can as well create directly the URLs from the application, and then extend it from this side, but I decided to use the router also. It's still fine. Otherwise it's fine. So be sure to end it with a comma like that. And then because I want to have the pagination, I want to configure the pagination from REST framework. We can do what we can create, for example, when you go to the REST framework pagination, let me just search for REST framework pagination. There's a documentation for everything, guys. You don't have to struggle a lot, because everything is always provided. So on this case, let me just copy this one, because I want to set the pagination by default from the global, in the global settings. So in the settings, setting.py there at the bottom, I can add it there at the bottom. So and then a default pagination class, and then REST framework pagination pagination. So instead of a limit offset pagination, let me use a page number pagination. Page number. I don't know if it's there in the documentation. No, I think it should be there. Page number documentation. Let me see. Yeah, page number documentation. Yeah, here it is. So in fact, let me just copy everything here. So this one is to enable the global page number pagination global style globally. So I'm going to use that one. And now for me, I'm going to limit it to something, not 100, because this is just for demo, but you can always change here. Let me use something like a 10. 10 I think is fine. And then this one will enable pagination for the Django REST API, and set the page size to 10 items per page before it adds another page. So I think everything is fine. We can do it. By the way, let me first of all create the super user, because we want to access the admin. So to create a super user, say Django Python. First of all, let me clear here. So it's Python manage.py create super user, and then the name, let me just call it name tag. Password, email, I can just leave blank. Password, let me give it my password. I repeat again, and then the super user is created successfully. Then now we can run the server. Remember, this command are always available here. All these commands are available here to run server. It's here. Everything is just here. To create the super users, everything is just here. So to run the server again, we'll use this command manage.py. Now we'll use the run server command. Run server, and the port by default, if you do not specify, is going to run at port 8000. So let me run so that it can open in that port 8000, and then I can navigate to that port. So you can copy that URL then to your browser, and then remember, we haven't created the front end. So here we want to just test the APIs. Remember, we want to test the APIs, but for admin is already created for us. So when you go to the URL, so you'll see that we have the path for admin. So you are going to just type the admin there, /admin admin, and then now the username I used name tag, then at the password you can use your password. Yeah, so you can see everything is fine, but now we didn't register it in the admin, so we can register this model in the backend so that we can access everything also in this side. So let's go to the to-do application. Let me close everything so that you know. I want to like let me close these stuffs. Yeah, to the to-do, and then to the admin. So first of all, you need to have this first line, and then at the second one, let's import the models. So we are going to import from the current directory models. Import. We are going to import the model was what? The model was to do. Yeah, the model was to do. So to register, we can register it here. So it is admin dot site dot register. Then the model name is to do. Is to do. So let's try to refresh here. Yeah, you can see now we have now that to do here. When you click on it, you can add in new to do's here. It is fine. Everything is fine. So at the moment, let's now test the APIs if it's working, if it's really working. So I already have the Postman here, but you can go to the Postman website, Postman, to test the APIs, and then you can as well download or test it directly in the web. Let me minimize some tabs here, and then so you can sign in and but this time let me just use direct in there because I already have the applications. So go to the Postman. You can always go to the home if it's your first time. Go to the what? So let me wait for it to load. Let me wait for it to load. Then you can always go to the home. Home. Then you can do it. You can. So once you go there to the home, then you can definitely do it. You can create some workspaces. Then let me create a new one. Let me create a new workspace. I can call it should I create a new one? Let me just create a new one for testing. Let me call it I'm going to use let me just use API, or let me use this one, blank workspace, and then name, let me call it test, and then this one is for only me, and then so now we can do what we can create. We can create a request here now. So let's create here a new request, and then we can type the URL that is run in the APIs. Remember the port number is the same, and let me just go there, and then I'll copy. Where was it? So it is this one, and then to do. Let's try to send a request and see if it will work very well. Oh, it should be first of all API. Remember in the definition here in the settings, where is it? In the settings, in the URLs here, it begins with the API before the to do. So you have to begin with the to do API first. API. Is it APIs or API? Let me see. API, then to do. Let's do a request, and then guys, you can see the status here, it is 200, which means it's okay. Remember, now at the moment we don't have any object here, but let's try to create an object in the backend. So let me say Django. Let me just call it to do project. To do project, and then create a date, and then created art, and then for due art, let me just use, for example, due at whichever date, and then a time is going to be like midnight. Let me use midnight, and then I can save. So now you can see, now we use the string of representation of the project. Now you can see it's picking up the to do. So let me do a fetch, and let me request. You can see now it's here. Of course, you can as well search with the ID, with the IDs here. So instead, also you can as well search one, then you can see it return there, and the request is not yet completed. So let me create another one. Let me call it photography web application, and then due art. So let me just call it, and then now, not now actually, let me use today, or let me use tomorrow, whichever date. And then let's try to save and see. So now when you search, remember, when you search to, it will be available. Because now photography web application completed false, then at the time it was created is today, then the due art is there. So but remember, when you try to search for 3ID3, it won't be there because it's not there, no match. The status here is 400, not found. And to access all of them, just go to the to do, then I'm going to list all the tasks. So the APIs are fully working fine. Then guys, we can do what we can create the front end now. So guys, we want to start the front end, and we are using React. So before you do anything on the front end, because React depends on Node, you need to install Node in your system. How do you install it? So go to your search bar, and then just search for Node.js. Node.js download, and then I go to this Node.js download page, this one, and then download for your operating system. Ensure you download it for your operating system. Mine is Microsoft Windows, but yours might be Mac or a Linux. Be sure to install it in your operating system. Once you've installed, then you can run this command. Remember, now I'm at the root. Remember, it's to-do list, the container that carries all the folders here. So I'm at the root. Then we can do npx install not installing actually, npx create React app, then we can call it front end. Create React app, and then front end, and then let's try to create that application. So it's going to create here the front end folder, and then it's going to install some files here. So I'm going to give it some moment so that you can install everything, then I will proceed. So guys, I see the download is done, the installation is done, and in the front end you can realize that there are some packages here, folders, like for node modules. These are the modules dependencies for this project. And then now we also have this public, where we have remember, it's a single page application, so we have the index file here that contains also the root and then perhaps I can call it a name like this one is a to-do list. So let me give it to-do list, and then so basically this one depends on JavaScript, and then everything is these are the logos. You could choose to change or leave it, but let me just leave it. This is just for demonstration. And then this CRC, this is where we place the components. These are like the pages, reusable. Like for example, let's say you have a footer or a header that you want it to be the same on all pages. So you can create a component, then you include it in the main component, so that any other page will be will have those those header and footer, they are the same. So basically with components, they are reusable, and you can include it wherever you wish to. So it is very nice aspect in React. So I'm going to place my components in this CRC. So basically this package, and this just described like the project, the name, and then the version and stuff like that. So don't mind about this stuff, you can leave it, don't touch it, but we are going to focus on the CRC. Of course, you can also create another folder for the components subfolder, but because this is just a symbol for a to-do list, I'm going to leave all the components here, this CRC folder. So I'm going to create several folder. Now before anything, let me install the dependencies first of all. So we are going to use again the node package manager npm install Axios. Axios is the package responsible for making HTTP requests to the server, So we are going to install first of all Axios. Let me install several at a go, and then we are going also to install React router DOM, router DOM. So basically this one is for for client side routing, also to work with the DOM. And then also we need also for pagination, we shall use React paginate. So these are the packages that we are going to use, or dependencies for this project. So let me run. Again, I think it's going to take some moment. I can give it some second for it to finish, then we can resume. Now let me clear CLS to clear. So basically I see I'm using a PowerShell. I could use command prompt for consistency. Remember, they are just the same despite some small changes here and there, but they are just the same, those command line interfaces. So now within this CRC in the front end, in the React project, this CRC, I'm going to create here like the components. So the components to handle or to display the list of all the to-dos, and also handle the CRUD operation, that is to create update, and also delete. I'll use this component. Remember, they are named in Pascal case naming convention. So it is to do list list.js. Remember, we're using JSX, that is JavaScript. XML, they are just almost similar to HTML, despite that you can use JavaScript on the same file. That there are just some small differences here and there, but this is just very simple. So this is for to-do list. Let me just create all of them, then I shall work on each or on individuals. So, and then also let's create another one to handle like a component to render a form for creating or updating a to-do. So I'll do this. Let me call it to-do form. Form again is a JSX JavaScript file, and then last for pagination, let's just create another component for pagination. So pagination dot js. So pagination.js. So the components are ready, and I think we can now begin to implement actually the let's begin with this to-do list, this to-do list, and then we shall handle the rest, as we go on. So on this one, we need to import some files here, or packages. So the first thing that we are going to do is to import now React. So import React. This is the first dependencies or a module, and then the second thing we are going to import these hooks, use state. Now use state, and remember nowadays React support functional based components. So we are using hooks, functional hook, those hooks instead of the class. Initially we were using the class based components, but nowadays it's functional based. So we use these hooks like the use state. This one handles the current state, and the change or the function after the subsequent change after the current state. For example, you want to to do something on the current state. Basically, you are going to use the use state, and also we are going to use the use effect. Use effect, this one is very useful. For example, if you want to fetch articles, or maybe to change to have some effects in your to make it dynamic. So we are going to use this effect. These are all hooks. Use effect, use effect, and then these are all from React. Remember, in JavaScript, statements are always closed with the semicolon. Now again, we are going to import Axio. Axios from Axios, and then again, remember to close with the semicolon. It's not a must, but it's a good practice. Also, we are going to import some components. So from the to-do form, or let me say from import to-do form from this folder, the current directory. Then the folder name or the file name is to-do form. Yeah, this one. Then I close with the semicolon, and then again we are going to import another component called pagination. Import from. Remember, I'm going to create these functions there in the export on those files. At the moment it's just like that, but I'm going to work on it. But just know that I'm going to use it. I'm going to create those. We in React you can export components with the export statement there. So I'll use pagination and also to do, but at the moment I'm just assuming that I've already created, but I'll work on it in a few. So the current directory, I'm going to also to use the pagination file .js, then I'll close with a semicolon. Now we can create now a variable. This is, I'm going to use here an arrow function to do list. I'll use an arrow function, and then inside the braces I'm going to use the local scope variable const const, and then I'll use the use states. So the first one is to do, to do's. So let me just call it to do's, and then the effect, or maybe the state later, is to like to change the to set like to do's. Set to do's. This one I'm going to assign here to the use state. Now in this use state, the initial state is going to be like an empty object like that. And then the other hook, or as use state, I'm going to use current page. Remember, this one is camel case. Current page, then set current page. This is camel case naming convention. All of these I'm going to assign it to the use state. Use state, not empty this time. I'm going to give it 1. Also close with the semicolon, and then lastly I'm going to create const, and then I'll use the total pages, and then set total pages, and then I'm going to assign here to again the use state 1, use state again 1. So use state 1, be sure to close with the semicolon like that. Now let's work on the use effects. Like I want to fetch these things from the backend. So again I'll use a use effect. Then again I'm going to use an arrow function inside, and then here I'm going to use to call it fetch to do's. Fetch to do's. I'm going to work on it in a few. fetch to do's, and then okay, so fetch to do's, comma, and then the other one is current page. So close with the semicolon again, and then also another variable, like because we've called this one here, we need also to like define it. So let's define it with the const, and then I'll say fetch to do's. Then I'll assign here to the arrow function, fetch to do's. Then I'll use async the arrow function again. The arrow function, sorry. Now in case there's an error, we need to like implement that. So I'm going to use try. So it's going to like check on this one, const, let's say response, then await. Should be await, right? Await. Axios dot get. dot get, and then what I'll do, let me get the API. So first of all, let me get, and then here I'll use, let me just copy the path, like the URL, or let me just do this. Let me just say / should be inside the quotes. So let me just call it API / to-dos. To-dos. Let me check first of all. Did I use to-dos? To-dos. But let me just change here in the project, in the URLs. Let me just use to-dos instead. Let me just use to-dos. To-dos, then a / to will allow anything there, page, and then a $sign, which means that anything can be there, and then the current page, so it will display the current, the current page. Of course, I'm going to work on it in a few. The current page. So it's going to check on this stuff. So in case there's an error, then it's going to throw an error. So let me say set to-dos, and then I'll pass here response dot data dot result. I'm going to work on the result as well. Result. Let me say results, semicolon, and then again it's going to check on the set total pages. Set total pages. I'm going to assign here to, it's going to calculate. I'll use math module, math dot cell, and then into a response dot data dot count divided by should be divided by the response dot data dot page underscore size. Page underscore size. Let me close with the semicolon like that, and then now, so basically it's going to check on this stuff. So in case there's an error, then it's going to catch it. So I'll say catch. In case these stuffs fail, then it's going to catch, and then we are passing here error. Should be error, and then what is the error? So the curly braces, then console dot error, and then the error message could be something like let's say error fetching to-dos. You can decide also to display the error message itself, the error itself. So let me say error. Yeah, so that one I think it's fine. Let's terminate with the semicolon like that, and then so I think this is the first one, and then let's terminate with the semicolon here. Now also let's create another one for to create the to do now, the function to create like the to do. So again, I'm going to use variable const, and then this one is going to be create to do. So on this create to do, again, I'm going to assign here to async, then I'm going to pass in task, and also due date. I'll use an arrow function here. I'll use an arrow function there, and then here again, let's begin with the try. Like we have to implement the validation here. Like in case we have errors, it should display something there. So let's say const response should be response. I'm going to assign here to await axios dot post method here, post. Then again, we are going to use the same API, then to do's / like that, and then comma. Again, we can have also, so you're able to create the task like that, and then also due underscore at. I remember that's what I used the other time. Then colon. Then this one is going to be like due at. I'll use due date. Yeah, due date. Like to use the naming convention in in React or a JavaScript. So let's implement it this way. And then the other thing that is going to check is set to do's. Set to do's, and then on this one again is going to, I'm going to use here the this ellipse, then I say to do's comma response dot data semicolon, like that. And then now, so in case, in the event where we have an error, we should as well implement the catch, and then so here we shall pass in error, and then open the braces, and then here we shall pass in console dot error, and then the error message will be like, should be a string, error creating to do, and then you can display the error message itself, like the error itself, so it will be error like that. And then this one, I think we are good. So another one is to update. So you've created, so how do you update? So in the event you want to update, let's also create its function. So const, and then no, this is to update, not delete. So update to do, to do. So here again, I'm going to assign here to async, and then here we shall pass in id, and then also updated, dated, updated task, and then completed, and then also due date. You can update all this stuff. I'll use an arrow function. So again, we shall use our normal try. So it is going to check on this. There is going to validate. It's going to check on this stuff. In case there's an error, then it's going to throw an error. So it's going to try, and then a const response. Response. I'm going to give it a weight. Axios dot. It's going to use the put. And then here again, now here, because it's going to be dynamic, I'm going to use it's called what, the backtick. Then here say API, and then to-dos /end. Remember, if you're not good with if you're not good with the regular expression, then you can as well go to the website and then learn more to my website. Once again, let me try again to open for you the website. It's nametech, nametech.com. Everything, remember, is just free. Should be nametech, nametech.com. So when you go to the nametech.com, then I go to the courses. Go to courses, and then at the courses you can search for React. Just search for React, and then you can do what, you can click on this React. Then in most cases we recommend you sign in. So let me try to create an account so that I can show you how you can access this stuff. So again, let me just try to access it with Google. Let me log in with Google, and then try to see if I can be able to access and show you how you can access these stuffs. So basically I've accessed the courses. So let me again search for React. So let's preview this course, and then start the course. Also, it's a good practice also to learn vanilla JavaScript before you dive into React. So you can see everything is here in details. So you can always find here, you can see there's hooks. You learn how hooks works. You can see I have the use state, use effects, and all that, and many other stuffs. So basically it's nametech.com. Then you're going to access everything here. Everything is just free of charge. Now back to our discussion. So here it was ID, and then also learn about the regular expression. I think it's on JavaScript in details. Learn more about the regular expression, and then again here // and then after that let's add in a comma. Now after that we can have the variable now task. Let's now assign the task. Task is going to be, remember, task is what we define in the Django backend. So the task, I'll use updated task, task, and then also completed date, I think it's just the same, completed, and then due at, I'm going to assign here to the due date. Remember we are changing it, so for for the naming convention in JavaScript, yeah, for things to work like well. And then so this is what is going to check, and also it's going to like work on the set to-dos, and then in this set to-dos we are passing here to-dos dot map. We want to map that to-dos with to-dos, and then an arrow function here. In this arrow function here, I'll pass again to do a single dot id, and then id, and then response dot data, and then to do, and then we can terminate with a semicolon like that. And then so in case there's an error, and then this we're going to catch it. So let's say catch, we are passing here error, and then the statements here will be like let's pass in the console. It will print something there, console dot error, and then the error message will be like error updating to do, and then the message itself, the error itself is error, and then let's terminate with a semicolon like that. And also here at the bottom, no, I think there's somewhere where I didn't like did it well, because they should be there should be closing, like there should be another curly brace here. I don't know where I missed it, so let me try to check where it is. Yeah, actually I think I should just add here the closing. Oh, it was there already, I didn't see, so it was there. And then let's terminate. Now for the update to do, I think it's fine. Now let's also work on the delete. I think we will have completed the CRUD operation. So let's say const delete to do, then we are going to assign here to async, and then here we're going to focus on the id, and then let me use an arrow function, and then again we shall begin in the try, and then on this try is going to like check on this stuff, await actions dot delete, then we are passing here. Now because it's dynamic, you use the backtick API /to-dos, then $, then id, and then let's do this, and then so yeah, I think it's fine. Then now we can terminate the statement. Yeah, so here then we're going to set to-dos, set to-dos into to-dos dot filter then we are filtering to do with this function to do dot id. If it's not equal to id, not equal, I'll use the exclamation, not equal to the id, like that. Then let's terminate with the semicolon, and then so in the event there's an error, then it should display something here. So let me say catch, and then we are passing here error, and then the error message, I'll use the console dot error. Then we are passing here the error message, error deleting to do. Then the error message, like the error itself, it will be error. Remember always to separate parameters with the comma. The goodness with the VS, it highlights the error. Then I terminate with the semicolon. It's a good practice to do so. Then let's terminate this other side. So I think we are good. Also, we can check on the pagination. So let's create a variable for that, const handle page change. Handle page change, we are going to assign here to the I'm going to create everything in a few page number, arrow functions again. So here I'm going to use the set current page. Then I'm passing here page number, the one that we just created. We are calling it with that one. And then so let's first of all terminate, then we are going to work on the other one, which was so let's create another variable here, const here pending to-dos. So to-dos that you haven't completed, I want to create a function for it. So to do dot filter, I want it to filter the incomplete to-dos alone. So filter, and then here we are passing in the to-do and then the arrow function. To do, if it's not, it's going to filter if it's not to do. So not, I'll use exclamation to do dot completed. If it's not completed. Yeah, completed, and then I terminate with the semicolon. So it's going to filter that, and then also const completed. Now this one for completed to do's. Again, I'm going to assign here to do's. Again, here I think I should have used to do's. remember when you just do a mistake, then it won't like work well. So completed to dos, I'm going to assign here to filter. So this one is going to filter the to do individual to do, which is not what, which is completed now this time. The other one was not completed, but this one is to do which is completed, which is completed this way. Yeah, this way. So now we can have our return and then work on everything. Now in React, we have like to wrap everything inside the main tag or the main element. So I'm going to use the return here. So let me say return, and then I say that you need to have like the main element that will wrap everything inside it. So again, I can just use it that way. Yeah, you know, the empty element, I'm going to use the empty element this way, and then yeah, so so I think first of all I should have used sorry, I should have used these normal braces, sorry, because this one is a function. So a function, they use the parentheses, and then I'm going to use the empty, like, yeah, that one. Yeah, it is working now fine. So let me just create a simple page, and then we shall modify it later. So I'll use the h1. I'll use the h1 here, and then I'll say to-do list, and then to-do list, and then it's going to display. I'm going to work on the to-do form, to-do form, to-do form on submit. On submit is going to be like a create. I'm going to like a create to do. On submit is going to like create the to do, and let's close. Remember in React it allows like a self closing that way, and then so the other thing is for pending. For pending, I think for pending, let me use h2. Pending task, so I'll say pending tasks. So on the pending tasks, let me use let me iterate everything here. I'll use the iteration, so I'll use the ul unordered list, and then in this unordered list, so first of all I'm going to remember, now in Django we use even in JavaScript we use the parentheses, you know, the curly braces, like to define your variables. So here I'm going to say pending, I'm going to pass here pending to dos dot map into like to do, which is not like a completed to do. Let me like use now the li here for elements that we are iterating. Li, then it's a good practice in React, to always like define, because we are iterating several elements. It's a good idea to like have each element to like how to be unique. So I'm going to use the key. I'm going to assign here to do ID. so that it may not have issue, it may not throw the error. todo.id. So individual, it will have like we are doing the iteration here, so individual will have like the unique like a key for itself. So I'm passing here inside the, let me pass here inside input. And let me pass here input. Let me use it as a self-closing. Remember, React allows like a self-closing of elements. And then so type so type here is going to be like a checkbox. So the type is going to be like a checkbox. Checkbox, and then checkbox, and then checked is going to be like it's going to be like to do completed. To do dot completed. Now on change, once you click on that on change, so on change, so on change is going to like on change is going like to display this. It's going to work on, it's going to like implement like display update to do, and then here it will be like a to do dot id, also to do dot task, comma, also it's going to like not return the to do which is completed. To do dot completed, I don't want it like to return. Remember, this one is pending. To do dot completed, and then also to do dot due at the time that it should be due. Yeah, this way. Yeah, this way I think it's fine. Yeah, it's fine the way it is. So this is the like the input there, and that first li. Then again, no, that is the input. Then again now on this li, I'm going to pass here now. I'm going to like after this one, it should be this one. On this one again, I'm going to like pass here to do dot completed like it's going to check on this one. To do completed, then and then it's going to like del. I'll use the del keyword, the del. Then here it should be to do dot task, to do dot task is going to check like the to do dot task, to do dot task, and then so it's going to like check if it's completed. If it is completed, like it's going to like check on this to do task which is completed. If it's completed, then it's going to like return the to do dot task, like if it's not completed, to do dot task. Task should be task, right? To do task that way. Or this deal, I think it should be here. Yeah, it should be there. Yeah, sure. You can see now the error has disappeared. And then now let's have a span. We shall style everything here. Span. So for span, it's going to like a check due. It's going to like a display due, and then we are going to like a pass. We are going to pass what? Here we are going to pass new, and then date, and then we are going to pass here to do dot due at dot. I want to use it to local, like to local string, local to local string. Yeah, to local string method. So now I'm going to use that one, and then yeah, this is fine. So again, I'm going to have a button. Let me create also a button. Now for this button, it's going to like I want to use just, in React you don't have like to have the self-closing things. The tag, the closing tag, you can just use a single. So I'll say here a button on click. Now on click, that button on click, then it's going to like on click, I'm going to use this arrow function. On click, it's going to like a delete. On click should be delete to do, and then on click should be delete to do, and then to do id dot id to do id. Okay, sure, it should have a closing. So let me just, because we need to have like the button itself for delete, so it should be like delete. Let me just say delete. Button, yeah, this is the button for delete. And then we need also to have like one for the button for like we need to have like the button for update, not edit actually. So it should be like update or edit. I think edit is a good term to use. So it should be on click again, but now this one I'm going to use the this one should be update to do. Update to do id, and then to do id, and then again we are separating this parameter. It should be to do id, then prompt. It should display a prompt. Prompt, like the prompt should be enter new task, enter new task, and then so then you display here the to do dot task, to do task. Then at the end of it, I should display to do dot completed. Yeah, should be completed. Also to do dot due at so it should display these fields, and then so here should be like edit, not delete. The message should be edit. Yeah, so should be edit is a button. Now this should be marked the end of this li, the first li. Now so this should be like now we need also to work on the completed. So this one was pending task. This this let me at the end of that ul so here let's have h2 again for h2. This is for completed task. Completed task. Should I have just even duplicated this stuff so that I can just modify? I think I should do that. Let me just copy this. Yeah, because I'm going to use something similar, only that let me copy from this. Only that this one is the opposite of the other one. So on this one let's check what we are going to implement to check. So here should be like not pending, should be completed to do's. This is what we are going to map here to do, and then li, then a key should be again the key, and then a to do id. Input should be checkbox again and then checked to do completed, and then on change should be update to do again to do id, then to do task, and then to do completed, not completed, then due to do due at. And so this I think should have the same operation there. And then now after that, this is going to check on this one. To do completed question mark, and then I'm going to check to do a task. Then these statement I think just should remain the same. And then due new due at due at local string to local string. Yeah, this is fine. And then on click button on click, delete, to do delete. Yeah, button to do prompt, and a new task. Yeah, this is fine to do due at. Then yeah, so guys, I think what you'll have, you just duplicate. What will change is just this first this completed to do's. You're going to only use that one, and then everything is going to remain the same. So lastly, let's work on the pagination. I'm going to create that pagination in a few. Yeah, pagination, and then in this pagination, so the first one is current current page, I'm going to assign here to current page. A current page, and then it's going also to display total pages in between. Total pages. I'm going to display the total pages. So it's going to first of all display the current page so that it can display the page that it is, and then the total pages, and then on page change. So let me say on page change. On page change, I remember I'm going to work on everything in the other component in a few. So on page change is going to like handle page change. It's going to handle the page change, and then we need to export everything here. We need to export the. I'm trying to find where the problem is. I think I'll revert to it in a few. Let me first of all export. Let me export this stuff. But there should be something to wrap everything here. I'll check in a few. So the other thing that we need to export this one. There's a component export default to-do list. Yeah, that to-do list should have wrapped everything, because that's like the main. This to-do list is like the main what. Let me check well, because this is like the main component that we are using here. So I should have wrapped everything. Let me just check well. To-do list. There's this opening. This shouldn't be here. Yeah, that one shouldn't be here because this one wraps everything. And then that one const fetch to do. Here should be fetch to do's async. Yeah, async. Let's find also another error. Okay, I'm going to create other components. I'm going to create other components to handle these stuffs, very, very effectively. So let's go to the form perhaps, the to-do form now. Now on the to-do form, we are going to import a React to-do form. I'm going to say import React from import React from React, but as well I'm going to use the use effect. I'm going to say use state. I'm going to use use state. I think here I'll just use the use state. I'm going to use the use state. So import React. First of all, I use state from React, and then so now we are going to this time I don't want to forget, so let me just say const, and then I'll use a to-do form, to-do form. I'll use here the arrow function as well, but now as an argument I'll pass here I'll pass here on submit. On submit, I think should be okay. So on submit should be what? On submit again. Now let me use an arrow function, and then I think everything now should be wrapped here inside. So let me hope I won't forget. Then I here say const. I remember JavaScript is not sensitive to indentation, but it's a good practice to be organized. So here I'm going to pass task, and then set task. These are use state. Set a task and then set task. I'm going to use use state. So the initial one I'm going to give it like an empty string, and then another one I'm going to use a const, then due date. This is camel case naming convention for variables. So set due date, set due date, and then here again I'm going to assign here to like an empty string. So now let's create a function to handle like the submit. So const handle submit. I'm going to assign here to an e. I'll give it e. So it's going to be e dot prevent default. E dot prevent default. E dot prevent default method. We are going to define it here in a few method, and then also let's do some condition statements here. So if task dot stream, method, then what we can do is on submit task dot stream method, comma due date, close with the semicolon there at the end. Also we need now like to set task. Set task is going to be like an empty string again. Also for set due date again is going to be like an empty string. So again let's terminate here with a semicolon. Then now the return statement, remember everything should be wrapped within this function to do form. The other one I had forgotten, but I remember always it wraps everything. Return method here, then inside it we are going to like wrap everything here. So I'm going to use just a form. It should have also the closing tag. So form and then on this form input, so form first of all on submit should handle, so let me say handle submit. Let me just give it in the same line, so handle submit, and then now so input remember input is self-closing like that in React. So in this input type is gonna be text, so value is going to be task, and then on change we are going to pass here then arrow function set task into e dot target dot value target dot value like that. Then placeholder, let's let it have a placeholder, so placeholder, so the placeholder is gonna be enter a new task, here, enter a new task, and then let's have also another input field, then we shall style everything in a few. So input here type is gonna be date time local, and date time local value should be what? The value should be due date. Then on change I'm going to pass here e, another function again, set due date, method is a function, we are calling it with e dot target dot value, dot value, and then a placeholder, let's let it have a placeholder, so placeholder we can give it due date, and then we can as well have the button at the end of this one. Now for button should I say, let me say add to do, type, the type here should be submit, type should be submit form, and then let's I think at this time it hasn't thrown much errors. Then let's export default to-do form. And then also for pagination, let's also finish with the pagination. So for pagination, we are going to import React. Import React from React, and then again we are importing React paginate. React paginate from React paginate. Yeah, from React paginate. Then so now so let's now create a function const should be pagination. Then we are assigning here to, so here should be another function, but we are passing arguments here. The first one is gonna be current page. It should be current page. Current page. Remember, everything we're exporting it to the to-do list. Remember, in the to-do list, it's already like defined current page and the stuff like that. So because we're exporting it, there's no need to implement individual, because we'd be repeating stuff. We are exporting it the other side. So so it should be current page, and then a total page, pages, comma, on page change, and then is another function. Is another function. So const here should be handle. Remember, everything should be wrapped. Let me not forget like at the other time. So should be wrapped within this function. Handle page change, handle page should be page click. Handle page click, and I'm using the camel case naming convention. Yeah, so here I'm going to pass here the data, assigning it to these are a function. Then here I'll say what I'll say, on page change, I'll pass here data dot selected +1. Remember, I'm going to work on that one in a few. +1. Let's terminate. Terminate also on the other side. So the return, so here we are going to use React paginate. React paginate. Yeah, React paginate, and then so I'll say here previous. So let me just try to list some cool function from paginate. So the first one, I'm going to use a previous label. I'll assign here to the previous. React paginate unreachable code. I don't know why it's throwing this error, but let me just list everything then. Next label. I'll assign here to the next. I'm going to check on that one in the documentation if it's correct. Break if something changed. Break label. I'm going to assign here to the ellipse. And then this one is going to be like a break break class name. Break me, and then page should be page count. Should be total pages. Margin page. Margin should be margin range. Display. Margin range display should be let me use 2 the moment, and then so page range display, page range displayed should be displayed. Page range displayed, I'm going to give it 5. I don't know why it's underlining the error. I'm not sure if something changed the React paginate, but I'm going to check in a few. Let me just finish first. And then on page change, I'm going to assign here to the handle page click. and then the container class. Container class name I'm going to assign here to pagination, and then active class name, active class name I'm going to assign here to active. Then a first page, I'm going to assign here to current page -1. -1, also let's export this one, and then I'm going to check export default pagination. Let me check in the documentation of React. React paginate. I think there's something that has changed. I don't know. Let me just check on it. I see it's just correct. I don't know why it's not, because they're using the same way that I'm using, but I didn't install it. Let me just check. But I think I'll check on that maybe perhaps later. So now we need like to we need now to work on the application now in the index.js. In this index.js, no, it should be the app. Let me go to the application app.js, and then app.js, and then React DOM render. Let me find function app. Let me just delete everything at the moment. Then I'll say import React from React. Then let me again use React DOM. React DOM. Import React DOM from, no, it should be React DOM from React DOM. Did I install React DOM? Let me check. Let me just search for React DOM. Here. Okay, so I think I need to install this React DOM as well. And then here should be import React DOM. Banner should be import React React DOM from React DOM, from React DOM, and then import browse router, browser should be router is router and then I think it's router. Import router, should it be switch? I don't know if it's switch or I think switch is depreciated, but I'll check it later perhaps. Then routes, I think switch is depreciated, it should be routes. Routes, and then from React router DOM, always is the best practice to terminate statements with a semicolon. And then also we need to import the to-do list. Import the to-do list. Import to-do list from these are to-do list. Yeah, I think it's fine. And then now, so this time I'm going to use the so let me say React router DOM render so here we are passing here the router. Router should be self-closing. No, it shouldn't be. This should drop everything, and then here I think it's not switch, it should be routes. Routes this way, and then so inside we are passing the path, so route then a path. The first one is gonna be like the default, like the home, and then here we are passing here to do list component. Remember, this is just a single page application, so it's gonna be to do list. So I think now we need to configure. Let me try to configure now the Django development server for the React. So I think I need to add in some lines. I'm going to return, I guess these tabs have issues, but I think because React also has powerful debugging system, we shall see the errors in case there's an error. So let me go to the settings of the project, and then this static also we need, like because we are using the external, so here I think we need also to define the static root, static underscore root I'm going to assign here to os.path. Remember, first of all, I need to import os here at the top. Import os. os.path. os.path.join .join. So it's going to be base dir, comma, and then static files. For production, static files, and then so for static files directory, directory, there are directories. I'm going to assign here to this list. To this list, os os.path.join into base dir, comma, and then it's gonna be front end. I'm going to run the build. Should be front inside the code. So it's gonna be front end, the main folder that carries the front end, a front end, then a build, because I'm going to run the build. Then build and a static build, front end build, then a static, like that, comma. Then for React app directory also, let's define it. React underscore app underscore dir. I'm going to assign here to os.path.join base dir dot comma, then front end. Remember, should be inside the quotes, like that. Then now for template system also, we need to configure that the template in system, so that it can point to the external directory. So to this there, I need to templates on this dir. I need to define here os dot path dot join and dot join, and then here is gonna be React app directory, the one that we just defined there at the bottom, comma, so here is gonna be build. Okay, so basically I think this one should be there at the top. I should have defined there at the top, React. Let me paste it here at the top. Yeah, because I had defined there at the bottom. So I think everything should work. So now I think also I need to configure the URL for the front end. So these are URL. I think we are going to import now the Django. So from Django.views, generic import, we'll use the template view. I import template view, and then this URL pattern, I'll say path. So the empty one should be like for React, like this. Template view dot as underscore view. Then now we are passing in template name, template underscore name should be index dot html. Let me close with a comma like that. So we can try to run the build. So let me break the server. Let's see. Also, let me say exit. I think it should be exit function. Yeah, I think it's fine. Yeah, so basically what I'm going to do next now is to like run the build and see if it will work or not. So npm run build. Also, let me cd first of all, cd front end. npm run build. Now for production, I'm going to like create another folder here called build. Oh, so guys, I think I see the error. I see where the error is coming from. I used here the brackets instead of the normal bracket. So let me get where CRC should be CRC, C and not build, CRC, and then pagination. Now is pagination. Yeah, here it is. Oh yeah, I think I used this one instead of the normal bracket. Yeah, so I think that this was the reason. I think now the error has disappeared. So let me try again to run the build and see if it will work or not. Again, app does not contain a default export. I forgot as well to, because I cleared everything, so I should have in the app. I forgot. So here should be export default, should be export default. Then trying to see where the problem is, then we resolve it together. A function, then is gonna be app. So here it should be return. Then So basically this one is a function, so I should have used here, and then here should be now the curly braces, then here should be the curly braces, I think. Then now the return, now this should be here, and then this one here. And then so export default app. I think it should be fine by now. Let me again try to run the build. So guys, I see there's an error here on line 39 that to do is not defined. Let's check it out. It is in the to-do list. To-do list 39. 39 number 39 is here. Oh sure, here it should be to do instead of to dos. And then let's check any other error. I see here to do form is declared, but it's not, its value is never used. So let me check where we used the form. Yeah, here I think should be to do form. It's case sensitive, so let me say to do forms, to do form, and then I see React is underlined. Basically it begins with a capital, so it should be React like that. And then I hope all the errors have disappeared. So let me try to npm build and see if it will work or not. Yeah, so I think the error has disappeared. Let me try to run now. npm start. I think you see there is an error. Oh, it says on the app.js React DOM is declared, but it's not used. Let me check. Yeah, sure. Let me check on the errors and then I'll try to solve it. And then npm start. App.js is exported well, I guess. Yeah, so let me see. That's not returning anything. So guys, I see it's not returning anything, and so I think what I'll need to do, let me inspect in the console so that I can get the exact error there. Let me inspect, and then in the console, then there's a lot of errors here. Invalid hook call. Okay, so I think there's some things that I need to configure here for it to work effectively. Now here I think it should be, let me try to change here the method to call, instead of the curly braces, let me use let me use a plus. Yeah, this way, and then I think there's something that I need to download for it to work, or let me install the latest router, React Router DOM. Try to see if it can solve the issue. So it should be npm install React router DOM version perhaps version 6. Let me try to rerun and see if it can solve the issue. Also, I'll need to install the React latest. Perhaps it can also solve the issue. Let it finish first of all, and then let me run npm install react at latest and also React DOM at latest. Again, let me do npm catch clean false. So guys, let me just delete this folder, and then for node modules, then I'm going to, there's a command to delete, but I want to use I just want to use like a direct deleting directly. Though there's a command that you can as well use to delete the node modules, which is rm. In fact, let me try to use a git bash, because this one is more for rm. Let me delete this one first of all, and once the modules are removed, then I can run npm install. So let me try again to run this command rm let me try to run this command. I know it's removed, but if you want to like remove it on Linux, you can do rmrf then a node underscore modules. Node modules. Now let me install it once again. Should be npm install. So let me give it some time to install the dependencies. Yeah, so once it's done, let me try to run. Let me try to start and the server and see if it will work or not, or we'll have to like debug again. Let me inspect. At least the The errors have reduced. Let me check. Uncaught error is not a router component. All component children of the roots must be a root or in the app.js and how did I export it? It should be to-do list. Let me try to solve this one. Route. So let me just use a path from route. Should be a route. A route, then here I'll pass here path. Path. So this one is going to be like at the root. At the root, and then element. I'm going to give it that component. The component which is to-do list. To-do list. And see if it will work or not. Let me try to rerun. Yeah. So I see it's working. Let me try to check on the backend and see if it's where the problem actually is. Or rather, let me just call it directly with the full path, with the full URL. Let me call it with the full URL instead of to-do list. Let me call it with the full URL. Let me check first of all if it's really fetching or not. So let me try to send. I don't know why it's not like fetching, but guys, I've just noticed that the package that I'm missing is the cross-origin resource sharing from the Django. I need to install it in the backend so that I may be able to fetch it in the front end. So I'll go to this backend. Let me break the server, and then I'm going to install pip install pip install Django cross origin resource sharing headers. I think that's the spelling. Then yeah, it has installed, and then also I need to list it in the first of all, let me copy this. Let me copy and try to find the documentation. Cross origin, and then so let me copy. I should add it in the list of install applications. settings and the list of installed applications. And then the other thing I need to specify the origins allowed. So where should I put it? I think let me try to add it here. So let me find the documentation so for proper guidance. So across origin resource sharing allowed origins, I'm going to use let me just copy everything here, and then let me just paste. But now this one I think I'm going to use just that 300 by default. I should be http let me know which port it is running from with. Let me just copy exactly everything. And then the method that can be allowed there, let me try to see if I can just copy directly from the documentation. The methods, yeah, the methods. Let me just copy the methods also, so that I can be able to do these operations in the front end. So I'm going to just paste it here, and then also in the middleware I need to include there in the middleware. Let me find let me find in the middleware. I don't know where it is. Yeah, middleware. I think it's here. Let me just copy. Django. This one is already installed, I think. Let me try to see. Yeah, this one is already installed. So let me just add this one, and then let me try to rerun. Let me try to rerun the server. Oh, sure, I see. It shouldn't have, like, I had added that trailing slash. I think that's the reason. So let me try to rerun and see. Yeah, it's working now. It is working now super fine. Yeah, I think it's very, very fine. Let me try to add in here one, like, let me say Django portfolio website. Date is let me just use whichever. So guys, the challenge here, I'm unable to, like, add in some new entries here. For example, when I try Django, I tried earlier Django photography. I am unable to, like, add it. You can see it's not adding. Let me try to check on the form and see if I'll be able to resolve it. So this is the to do form, and then let me try to see where the problem actually is. So or to do form, I think here I should be on submit. Let me find all the instances of on submit, and then so it should be on submit. Remember, it is case sensitive. On submit, it is very case sensitive on this one, on this prompt in the to do form. It's very sensitive. Let me try again and see if it will really work or not. So let me refresh and see if I'll be able to. Let me see Django portfolio. Yeah, Django portfolio, it's now working. So everything is now fine. Let me now work on the styling and everything for it to like be appealing, and I'll use just Bootstrap for the headers. So let me just use a Bootstrap, and then I'm going to check first of all. Let me install it, because for you to use a Bootstrap you need to have installed it. So let me break the server, and let me install the Bootstrap. As it install, let me try to find the documentation, and then I'm going to like find where I can get the headers. Is it in navigation? Let me find navigation. I think it's navigation. Navbar. I think it is navbar. Let me see. Navbar. I just want to use a very simple one. And the navbar. Just a simple one. I'll use this one. I'll use this one, and then where these are returned. So I'm going to paste it here. Let me just say header. Let me comment and say header, or let me say navigation. Navigation section. Let me say navigation section ends. Now in React we don't use class direct. We use class name. So let me just select everything. Now Visual Studio Code is very powerful. You can select multiple items. You just highlight, and then you just change here to name. And then also for the form, first of all, let me see if it's really working or not. npm start. So guys, I see it is, I forgot to import it, because when you use it you have to import it. Let me just go to the documentation and see how I can be able to use it. CDN links, I think here it is. Let me just use these ones directly. So the CSS is here. So I'll go to the public, and then index.html. Then here at the top I can include now the link, and then I'll paste here that CSS. Let me find the JavaScript one. JavaScript should always be here at the bottom. JavaScript, so I'm going to like I don't know why even I script with this CCRC. I don't know why I installed JavaScript and Bootstrap in date. I'm not even using it. Let me see. Oh yeah, it's working. So there was no need for me to download that Bootstrap because I've used the CDN. But now let me try to customize here. Let me try to customize, and I'm going to remove to-do list. This disabled, let me remove. Also, I don't need even many things. To-do list, I think I can give it a logo. So this one should be, let me just call it to-do list. And then the second argument could be something like home. Let home remain, and then about home and about. I think home and about should be enough in this case, and then I should style it. So let me include here a CSS. So it's going to be up. And let me just use here direct. So it's going to be import 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 app dot css app.css. Let me try to add in the background, see first of all if it's working or not. So let me add in the background color. Should be body. Background color, let me give it aqua just to see if it's really working or not. Yeah, it's working. It's working very fine. So let me also add in another class so that I can sell it, properly. So let me just call it something like even I can call it something like let me just call it ms auto ms auto and then for the logo, so this UL I wanted it to float in the left. I don't know why it's, oh yeah, it has worked. So this is what I wanted, and I don't know where I touched because yeah, so and then so for the entire thing I think I can add in, I don't know if the spacing is good. Yeah, it's fine, but I let it be just white. Let me just, in fact, let me remove this property so that it can just be white by default. And then, yeah, this is fine. And then, so in the app.css, let me try to create margin of 4%. 4%, that is left and right. So should be 0. Top and bottom, and then left and right should be something 4%. Yeah, this is fine. So I think it should be all round. 3, and then here 2%. Yeah, this is not bad. Now let me try to figure out why it's not fetching the backend. Oh, I see the reason. Okay, I see guys that the reason it is, I see the reason it is running in the local host. So let me include it because it was 127, but now this time I've used the local host. So I think that's the main reason. Yeah, so I think this should resolve the issue. I want to make it allow also the local host. Let me try to refresh. Yeah, so guys, it has worked. So basically the issue it was that that local host. You remember I'm using here the local host instead of I was using 127 instead of this one. So I think the issue is now resolved. And then the next thing that I can do, perhaps let me try to add in several. Okay, because it's dynamic, I think it should have it should have it should use the backtick instead. Let me check. Encoded URL is not defined. So this is the error I get. I guess there's a typo there. Should be encode. Let me try encode. Okay, so guys, I think first of all, let me try to fix the CSS. Then this other one, I'm going to resolve it in a few. So what I'm going to do, so this to-do list form, I need to add in the color. So let me get where the return statement is. So H1 is fine. To-do form is fine. Okay, let me begin with the to-do form. To-do form, and then in this form I'm going to add in a background form. Form. So it should be app.css. So form background color. Let me give it even beige. And then I'm going to add in some padding of 2% or a 3 or 3. Then border radius, let me give it a 20 or a 20%. No, it should be 20 pixel. 15. Yeah, 15 pixel. Then so the input I'm going to give it some padding of again at 2%. No, it should be 1. 1%, and then margin left. First of all, the border radius property I should also add. And then a margin right. Let me give it 2%. So here reduce here to something like 5. 5, and then on this button also I'm going to add in the same styling. Let me add in the button. Also include the button. So it should be button. Yeah, button, and then the font size, I think everything is fine. But now this background, this background, let me just choose any other. Let me add in that near white. Yeah, I think this is fine. Now let me try to make it a bit. Yeah, this is not that bad. And then yeah, this is fine. So for the pending task, but now this button, I think I should exclude it. So for button, instead of button, let me give it a class. To do form for the button, let me give it a class. btn bt, because a btn it is already in Bootstrap, so let me give it bt button. Let me just call it bt. Yeah, so that it cannot affect these other ones. And then for this appending task, then I think I should also add in the margin bottom. Margin bottom, let me give it a 2% again on the form. Yeah, so and then on these pending tasks, let me try to on this pending task, let me use on the pending task, let me use numbers instead of the bullets. So let me change the from ordered list to to-do list. Let me use OL. 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 Also here. OL, that is ordered list. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Instead of the way it was the other time. So, and then again, so here let me add in some text here. So let me add in some text here, and then I say something like completed. So checkbox. So let me add in here a span. Completed. Let me see. Also, I should also include it here. Let me also include this one to the other. completed. So this is checkbox completed. So when you click on it, then it's going to be here. So I'm trying to find a way on how I can restructure it very well. So I think this should begin test 5, then completed. Let me do a line break here. Where is it? So let me use a paragraph here so that it can begin in a new line. So I tend to think like this test 4 should begin here at the first one, then completed, the second, then a due date. Let me see how I had written. So this is for completed. So this is for pending. So for pending, I think so this one instead of due, let me say completed on. Completed on. Yeah. So I think it should be this way. Completed on. Let me just check. Completed on. So and then the other thing that I should do, let me add in like so let me make it to be like the first one, this first input, not the first input, the task itself. Test 4, and then let me do a BR. Also here I should also add in the BR. Now this BR should be after the checkbox. After this one, let me see. and then I delete and edit. Let me give it a class. So div class name should be BTS. Yeah, BTS. Let me use BTS. Then to the CSS. Display should be block. I should be block, but let me also add in this BTS to the other one. Yeah, so let me give it so on the pending task, I think this space is too extreme. On the pending tasks, pending, let me find yeah, this structure is not that bad. So the structure is not that bad. Perhaps if I can try to style now the buttons at work effectively. So for delete, I'll use red, then I edit green or a blue. So let me try to do that. Let me edit the buttons so I can give it a class name. So let me give it a class name. So class name BTS. This is for delete. BTS red, and then this should be BTS BTS blue. Yeah, so it's fine. Then let me go to let me change now the display flex. Okay, display no, it shouldn't be block. Let me use flex. Let me try flex. Let me now do it. Let me say dot bts r. I'll give it a background color of red. Let me see, red, and then border should be none. And then a color white. So for blue, I'm going to change the color to blue. I'm going to change the color here to blue, and then yeah, let me just, and also for red, so let me say margin right, I'll give it 3%. 3%, then a padding. Padding, let me give it padding, let me give it a 5 pixel, that is top and bottom, then a 7 or a 12 pixel left and right. Let me first of all see. Also, let me add in the border radius of 10 pixel. Let me give it something like a 7. I think 7 should be fine. Seven should be fine, and then now to add here, let me give this one green. The background here to be green on the form. Let me get the form where the form is to do form. BT. So for BT, I'm going to give it background color. I'm going to give it green. Color, I'm going to give it white. Then a border none. Border should be none. And the border should be none. And then on these are LIs. I think on this LI I should also add in some background so that it can be, somehow presentable. So on the LI, let me also add in the background color. Let me give the one that I used here at the top. Let me copy the style, the stylings. Yeah, so the next thing that I should do here also is to, now let me reduce that spacing. It's too much. Margin bottom, not margin bottom actually. It should be, no, let me check margin bottom. That's not bad. But now the padding, let me give it 1. Yeah, 1 is fine. Now for this other one, for the pending also, let me rearrange things to the to-do list. For these are completed. Now for the completed should begin with first of all the task, no, the pending. Let me find where pending is. Pending. And then the other one, completed, checkbox. Then after it, yeah, due at. Let me see. I think it should be fine by now. Let me. So this header here, I think I should change. So let me go to the bootstrap and then to the colors or background colors here. So yeah, so it's going to be BG success. BG success. Let me see. And then so the colors, so color should be what? Navbar. So let me go to the CSS. No, these anchor tags. So let me check and see first of all where I have these anchor tags. So it should be anchor tag. Yeah. Anchor tag. To-do list. And then so nav link. Let me remove the background. Nav link. Though guys, it's good. It's a good practice to always be like organized. Like for example, the navbar should have begun from the top in that hierarchy. But now let me say background color. Give it none. I should have used background. None. This should apply to the anchor tags. Or what I do, let me just make them just normal anchor tags. To do app.js. So nav item. Or let me try with nav item and see if it will work or not. Nav item. Yeah, nav item, it's fine, it's working. And then also let me so margin so let me find the one that contains everything. MS Auto. Nav. That's nav. Again, I'll give it a margin right. I'll give it 3%. Even 4. And then for these are to do. Why is this? Why is it? Is it to do list? So margin left, I'll give it also 4%. Yeah, 4%, and then and then anchor tag I can increase perhaps the sizes. Font size. Let me give it 25 pixel. 20. But increase the font weight, or let me check. Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. Perhaps I increase the font weight. Font weight, I'll give it 600 to make it bold. Yeah. So it's fine. Let me just paste there. So font size I can give it even 20. Let me first of all see how it is being displayed. Then a margin right, I'll give it margin right I can give it 20 pixel. Let me give it 20. Let me give it 20 pixel and see if it will work well. Also for next. So padding I can give it 2 or 1%. Let me give it something like 5 pixel. So and then padding, let me give it 5 pixel by 7 pixel. By 7 pixel. So guys, the other thing, perhaps let me try to remove these underlines. So to remove the underlines, basically I'm going to modify that CSS, and so for next, now for next I'm going to duplicate, and then I target now the the anchor tag. The anchor tag, and in this anchor tag I'm going to say text decoration. I'll give it none. Yeah, text decoration, I'll give it none. Then the other thing that I can, so for previous again, let me get there. Previous, yeah, previous, and then the color, I don't know if the color are good. Let me use a dark blue. So for anchor tag, color, let me use a blue. Yeah, color blue, and then so these colors here, let me just, for uniformity purposes, let me use also blue. Whereas yeah, this way it's fine. And then perhaps let me try to add in the footer, and then I'll finish this stuff because it's taking me forever, and it's just a very simple thing. So perhaps let me try to increase to at least something like 10 or a 6. Yeah, 6 is fine. Yeah, 6 is, it's fine. Now let me add in the footer. So I'll go to the app.js. App.js. Then I will add in the footer there at the bottom. I will add in the footer here. So I'll just use footer. So in this footer, I'm going to write here. I'm going to write a copyright. Let me search for the copyright. I think it is and copy 2024 all rights reserved 2024 designed by Nametech. All rights reserved. So let me try to check. Is it capital C? Because let me try to search for copyright code, a copyright symbol, symbols, entities, and code. Yeah, this one. Then I'll search for the copyright message. Copyright. and copy. Oh, I forgot to add in the semicolon there at the end. It is small c. Yeah, and then let me just try to style the footer. So I'll go to the CSS, then footer, and then background color. I'll give it green, and then text align. It should be at the center, and then a padding. A padding should be something like 5%. Then top and bottom. Then the left and right should be 2%. Let me check. I think I'll reduce it to something like 3, and then color. The color should be white. The color should be white. And then perhaps let me try to increase the font size and font weight. And this name tag, I think I should make it an anchor tag as well. This is a name tag. Where is the app.js? So this one should be an anchor tag. Now for href, it's going to be https nametech.com. Yeah, let me see. And also the anchor tag, footer anchor tag, text decoration should be none. Text decoration none. Let me see. And then a color should be, I think the way it is, it's fine. Okay, so guys, let me just leave it at this juncture, and of course you can implement more features on the same, but for the interest of time, let me just leave it here. Please guys, if you find the video helpful, please consider subscribing, like, and share it to other people. That is to support me as well. I really appreciate you very much for your support, and until next time, this is Nehemiah. Goodbye. Thank you.